Hi, my name is David Shute, and I first met Pete at school, on the first day of school at Aske's when we were both 11. For the next 7 years we played through rugby, cricket, athletics, and separately we played five-a-side football in each of the age year teams. After school we played rugby for the Askeans together and for football for the Plumstead Radical Club with Dennis Comfrey. We also went to see many bands with Dennis and with a group of others, and went to places like the Pearly Orchid and the Streatham Meccano and saw bands like the Drifters, Stevie Wonder, Charlie and Inez Fox and the Animals. While we were at school, Pete and I were both members of the Explorers' Club, and we used to go caving in Derbyshire and Wales for weekends. And the incident I'm about to tell you is one that I know Peter has told Linda, and I'm not sure whether my version will be the same as the one she learnt from Peter. Anyway, we were in Wales going caving, and Peter and I shared a tent with Jimmy Russell. On the first morning, somehow we persuaded Jimmy to get up early and cook us breakfast. Staggeringly, he actually decided that he would do this. Obviously, Peter's powers of persuasion were a lot better than mine. Jimmy went out and was busy outside trying to get the oil stove going. Meantime, Peter pulled out of his rucksack a gas camping stove and a gas canister. And he thought this would be very funny if we cooked our own breakfast before Jimmy had started inside the tent. Being pretty stupid, I thought this was a great idea. Anyway, Pete wasn't able to fit the gas canister onto the stove. And so I said, give it to me, and I tried to put it on. Obviously, I'd never done this before, and I tried to force it. Suddenly, the canister split, and gas gushed out all over the pair of us. Peter grabbed the canister and threw it out through the flap of the tent. Unfortunately, we pitched the tent at the bottom of a hill by a wall. The intention was to act as a windbreak. So the canister bounced off the wall and landed very close to Jimmy, who had managed to get the oil stove going. With fantastic presence of mind, Jimmy buggered off up the hill. The gas canister went on the oil stove and it blew up. Our tent was suddenly in flames. I scrambled out of my sleeping bag, dived out, hit my head on the wall, and was quickly followed by Pete, who pushed past me and rolled over. Unfortunately, he was covered in gas, and suddenly the whole tent was going up, and Pete was alight. I can't claim any credit for putting him out. Somebody else must have done it, must have rolled him, or he must have got himself out. The teachers, Arthur Grant and Dermot Poston, were absolutely no help. All we could hear was them screaming, "Get it away from my tent." Anyway, the good news is Peter wasn't badly burnt, but he was in hospital for the next couple of days. And unfortunately, Jimmy and I lost everything in the fire, the tent and all our possessions. For the next 2 nights, while Peter was tucked up nicely in hospital, being looked after probably by pretty nurses, Jimmy and I had to borrow clothes from anybody and everyone and sleep inside the stores tent, which was not particularly a particularly good tent. Anyway, the upshot was Pete recovered, Jimmy and I eventually recovered, and we did go caving again. There were other incidents. There are lots of other incidents that I could tell you about, but I'm sure you're fed up with me talking already. So anyway, Pete's a great loss. It's a terrible loss, and it's very sad that he's gone. I hope that you all remember him fondly. I certainly do. Thanks very much. Take care.